Hello, gay people. Welcome to episode 8 of Kings on the Aux, the podcast where drag kings talk music and gender performance. I'm your host, Caius Crow, also known as Ben. This episode marks our third consecutive foray into Season 2 of Cleveland's Kingpin drag competition. I will be fully honest right now that I have not interviewed all 7 competitors from the most recent season yet. As important as Kingpin is to local and national drag history, there are, of course, so many other spheres where kings are making an impact. So you'll definitely hear more from Season 2 and Season 1 alumni in the coming months, but this is the last Kingpin feature for a little while. And we're closing with a bang as I chat with your current reigning Kingpin, Edward Lygma, aka the Rizzler. I will seriously never get tired of his drag name. The patter that it kind of forces you into is so silly, but so grand at the same time, and I think it really suits him. Funnily enough, this episode is also our second consecutive trip to the state of New York. That was not on purpose. At time of recording, Edward was still based primarily in Kent, with plenty of visits up to Cleveland. But shortly after, he announced his very exciting and also, frankly, heartbreaking move to New York City. All of us are so proud of him, but I know I'll miss him deeply. Literally, my only consolation for him leaving is that when he books a show with a Rue Girl or designs somebody's TV package and his notoriety fucking explodes, I get to say I knew him way back in Ohio. The Rizzler is such a talented and kind performer. I knew of him way before I actually had a conversation with him, and I remember being confused by him a little bit. As you might guess, his persona is rooted in Edward Nygma, the Riddler, from the DC universe. I believe Edward, the drag artist, is particularly fond of the Gotham TV series. And of course, from the get-go, he was so unique, so polished. He was doing Will Wood in musical theater, and that is some of my favorite drag to see. Unfortunately, through no fault of his own, he made his drag debut like 2 months after I had a major falling out with most of my close friends at the time. And what did I used to do with my now ex-friends? Cosplay the Batman Rogues Gallery from DC Comics. So that association haunted me for like a season before I finally got to meet Edward in person. In other news, I hate being gay. But I bounced back pretty quickly, so I was definitely enjoying the comics again by the time I actually got to talk to the Rizzler. The first time I remember us talking was at a drag holiday party hosted by my friend and noted king ally, Omega. And I remember Edward started the conversation because I was wearing a vintage vest, and he is so dedicated to fashion that he started asking me about the embroidered details and the color palette, and that conversation spiraled into drag and makeup and eyebrow piercings, and it became such an eclectic and also earnest conversation, much like our interview in a minute. But in the months since, I've had the best time getting to know him over messages, and it was so awesome to see his success during Kingpin. On top of winning the crown, in case anybody forgot, he won 4 straight weeks of a 5-week competition. This interview is really special to me because you'll hear Edward cover so many different subject areas with an intense attention to detail. He knows his references, and it shows. I knew going in that he would have some really impactful insights about the musical Cabaret and what it has to say about queer art and the threat of fascism, but he still amazed me with the care and intention that he brings to everything he does. We also go off on a few tangents here, but those enhance the experience. Take a listen. Since this is a number we saw during Kingpin, I'd like to start from the competition. You performed this for week 3 of season 2, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And the performance challenge that week was Rock With Me, right?
Yes, which is audience participation.
Yeah. So, for anyone who didn't see it live, what kind of things were we being judged on?
So we were being judged on mainly, it was really funny. There were a couple like independent things like on-time music and stuff like that. But mainly it was how the audience was reacting, how comfortable the audience seemed, how happy the audience seemed, but also how included the audience was while mixing it with a more formal performance.
So then, thinking about money specifically, tell me how you approached the challenge. What did you do to interact with the audience during the song?
The easiest way I could think of audience interaction was like clownery. And
Mm-hmm.
it came to my mind as like, oh, you always go up and you're like, take the scarf out of my sleeve. Oh my God, it's 6 feet long. It's like a fun little gag. And so I was like, okay, I could do that. I could do that with money. In the 1998, 92, I can't remember.
1998, yes.
98 Alan Cummings Cabaret, they do a performance of Money where he pulls, money out of his sleeve and he gives it to all of the dancers around him who are acting like whores and prostitutes, and he like, he
Mm-hmm.
treats them quite roughly. It's a pretty vulgar number in no matter what iteration you see. But he has this great moment where he pulls down his little zipper fly and like pulls out $1, and it's just like that moment. I was like, that's what we could do. So what I did is I stuffed my suit full of like pockets and I put my own printed money in there and I pulled it out of my sleeves. I had it in my back. I had it on my lower back so that it could like rain out. I just wanted to be stuffed full of cash and for the audience to have no clue. I wanted nobody to have any clue there was cash in there.
That's wonderful. You mentioned your own printed money. What was printed on the money?
Me, bitch.
You.
Well, besides me, I also did. I put Alan Cumming and Joel Grey, the MCs, on there. They were my little Illuminati pyramid and eagle or whatever.
That's so good. I remember that when Able and Willing and Frida Von Freakum do their recap show, they like talked for like several minutes about how cool your printed money was. Like, oh my God, Edward Lygma.
I know, it was really funny. I was like, wow, glad to know that the money outshined my performance. No, but I'm kidding. No, but seriously, I was like, wow, if you could have seen me in the Rockwell Fashion Library cutting out all this money and telling every like person who came in, it's not real money. Everybody was like, it's okay. We don't care. And it's like, I have no clue if you're going to care or not. I call the federal government. Next time I do the number, I'm going to actually have to make the money look less real because it would get confusing. And I was like, oh.
You accidentally like ate too hard. Like you overshot it.
I overate. I have a tummy ache now.
It's a good problem to have, though. That sounds like a really good reasoning to choose that particular recording, though, because I was going to ask you what drew you to this MC over all of the different recordings. I mean, I did a quick search and I found like 5 or 6 different recorded versions. I was like, oh, why Alan Cumming? But it sounds like it's kind of made for the audience participation part.
It is, and it's also a perfect, like, tight 3.5 minutes, which I think is the perfect amount of time for a drag number. The first drag number I ever did was, I think, 4 minutes and 8 seconds because my mom, Monica Maud, said, hey, man, drag should never really be over 4 minutes. Lots of it is. Lots of really brilliant drag is, but if you want to guarantee, like, a tight number where people aren't going to get moody or tired, a good 4 minutes. So 3.5 minutes, I found, keeps an audience on their toes. 3.5 minutes, it's not as fast as the movie version with Joel Grey. It's not as slow as the Eddie Redmayne version in the new one. It's like fun. It's like very like dark cabaret, Scissor Sisters, like it's there. It's snappy, but it's also like, oh, Well, that was a little odd.
I agree. Like the sweet spot that or sort of the range that I always tell people, because it feels very odd, but people do keep asking me like how long a drag number should be, probably just because in my school's drag scene, even though I'm like very new, I've only been doing it for about 2 years, I run into a lot of people who've been doing it for like a couple months, and they're like, how long should this be? And I'm like, well, 3 to 5 minutes, you're probably safe. If it's more than 5 minutes, you'd better have a damn good reason.
Yeah, you have a good reason. I saw, gosh, it was, I think I did like at the 420 Easter show, I think it was like an 8-minute number, and I was like,
Mhm.
this is gorgeous. It had like
Mhm.
Bible interludes, and it was like real pretty, and I was like, oh, this is call for 8 minutes.
Yes.
I also have asthma.
Yes.
I can't go for too long. I just want to cut in there real quick. I also have asthma. When you see me after numbers, I'm choking. I can't breathe. That's what's happening.
Yeah. For both audience reasons and accessibility reasons, we're going to keep it tight. We're going to keep it under 4 minutes. And I agree, because I was listening back to your track and also watching back some of your footage, that this is a good length to keep it compressed while also allowing you a lot of range, because we start off in that dark cabaret place that you were talking about, where it's like these really moody, spooky piano notes, and then it kicks up.
Yeah, it's nice. The perfect way to look at this song, actually, and I think it's the perfect structure of a song, is the Italians really nailed it with the aria. The aria
Mm.
structure, and I wish I could remember the words. There's the beginning section of an aria. There's an aria called Il mio bel foco. This is crazy. There's an aria called Il mio bel foco, and it starts out and it's real slow. It's like Il mio bel foco. It's like really long. You're talking. Basically, the translation is she's like, I think God's really hot. I think I would finger fuck God, because that's what the Italians sang about all the time. They were
Oh, for
always talking
sure.
about getting in with Jesus. I'm sure you've read about that with the nuns, where they're like
Hmm.
lusting after Jesus. It's like one of those songs. And it's this long narrative intro. And then there's a break. There's like a good second of like no music. And then it kicks into a song. And I think that's the best, where it's like, hey guys, we're about to do a song. Look at me, big song, stop. And now it's song time, bitch. I think that that's really good. And this song had that exact format. And I said, okay, so I can introduce the audience with this like intro and then kick into a real song. So in the beginning, I can touch bases with the audience and then head back up to the stage, is what that told me.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I can really see how I'm thinking back on other numbers I've seen, and I can see how that structure maps onto it. I mean, on the most basic level, when people are performing like more of a pop or rock song, like you can create that yourself with like that little
Yeah.
spoken introduction people like to cut in.
Yeah.
And then for the transition.
Yeah, I see it all the time in drag, whether or not people know they're doing it. They're like, they'll cut in with a little like meme or funny intro at the beginning and then song. And it's like, yeah, it wades into the water.
The Italians already did that. I didn't know that we
Italians
owed them
did
so
that.
much.
Oh man, the Italians did everything. They were nearly first to butt sex. Like the
who
Italians have tried it.
who beat them to it?
Probably the Greeks.
Probably. We'll never know for sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the written records would like cover everything. Probably. Do you think that butt sex predates written records? Almost
Definitely. I
definitely.
think that anything that you could, if I may, actually for next second, I think everything that you can do body wise has been tried and happened before pre-written record. Like
Yeah.
if you can try it, humans have tried it. That's human nature.
Yeah. I think anthropologically, I think that's pretty sound. I think we can. I think we're solid on that.
There's no new thought. Like it's like you, no, that's happened. Actually, there's no new thought. Usually when people come to me with ideas, I get the pleasure of telling him, "Oh, that happened in Doctor Who once." Everything you think of has already happened in Doctor Who. And it's
Which,
kind of true.
honestly, yeah. There's been Doctor Who has been going on for so long. I would not be surprised.
No, they do everything too.
I unfortunately I haven't had the pleasure of enjoying that much Doctor Who yet. I've seen one episode. I know it was a David Tennant episode.
Was it the one with the angels?
No, I think it was one. I think it was one of the ones with the Cybermen. That's the one that I saw.
Okay, Bert! That's such a cunty concept. They keep their entire nervous system in there. They basically pluck it out like that first nervous system cadaver. And they take
Mhm.
the brain, but they leave behind all the sensitivities and stuff. And they take the nervous system and brain and they plop it in a robot. So the robot has this switch that turns off its feeling. Because if it could feel, it would be in such great mental agonizing pain. It would pretty much just die and kill itself. And so, like, in these episodes, sometimes it'll switch on and the person in there will be like, why is it cold? And you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh my God.
Doctor Who's fucked up. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's fucked up.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like really like crazy. It's like, whoa.
There's an autism allegory in there. There's a
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, the doctor also is an autism allegory for
Hmm.
sure. A strange spaceman from another planet who's like fascinated with human tendencies but cannot seem to nail it. Yeah.
I need to study up. I feel like there would be something for me in this. I know there would be.
Probably. Probably. I was at a fashion show recently as a quick aside, and
Hmm.
I thought that this tag that had like a little Doctor Who reference on it was on this clothes. And I turned to the person next to the tag and I said, oh, are you a Doctor Who fan? And they said, yes. And I said, it's on this tag here. And I said, oh, that's not my clothes. So I just turned to a random bitch. It was like, you're a Doctor Who fan. And they were like, yes.
Well,
And
you,
then it turns out that was another person. I said, are you a Doctor Who fan? And they said, yes.
but if you look on the bright side, that just means you got two when you
Oh,
could have
yeah.
just gotten one. You got two.
Oh, I felt loved in that room. I was like, wait, these people get it. They've like thirsted after 35-plus-year-old men before. It comes with the territory.
It does. Of fashion and of drag, I feel like you can't avoid it.
Oh my gosh, no. Back to drag though.
Back to drag. Lovely segue. Lovely digression and lovely segue. This is actually the first time I'm talking to somebody about doing a song from a musical. This is the first time we're featuring a musical on the podcast. So,
People are really afraid of musicals.
people haven't asked me to do a song for a musical. I asked people, "Hey, what do you want to talk
I
about?"
don't do
And
songs for musicals either.
but I would, especially since we've already had the wonderful insight into arias, I would like your perspective on performing songs for musicals. How do you go about embodying a number when it's based on something that's been staged?
I usually will go look at some of the stagings or read a little bit of the script genuinely. I mean, I know it sounds like dorky and it's like, oh, I'm so pretentious, but it's like, no, I am going to go do my homework because my
Mm-hmm.
favorite thing to do in a performance is a reference. I love a reference. The Money Number had 1,000 different dance moves, poses, and things that were from the real Broadway productions. And therefore, like the two people in the audience were like, wait, 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 I've seen him do that. Yeah. And it's really fun. But then also, like, I get to see how previous people have interpreted it. So perhaps from that, I can take it in a new direction. The MC, for example, is like really loosely open to interpretation. It reminds me a lot of like Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream.
Mm.
You can look at this character as either completely human, just another guy who is completely blind to the situation, or perhaps understands the situation and just, resigned himself to the evil of fascism. Or you can look at them as this omnipotent character that like goes in between scenes and like isn't quite there or is quite there or might not even be there as this representation of fascism. For me, I could take all these different, versions in reference to this and be like, okay, well, I specifically believe a bit about this character. So I believe that, yes, it is like a character in Cabaret, but I think that he's not ignorant. I don't think he's not doesn't know what's going on. It's not exactly like Alan Cummings' MC where it's like he doesn't quite get it. I think he gets it. I just think he doesn't get that it would affect him. So then
Mm.
I really put myself into what I would consider like a modern equivalent headspace. I think of like a lot of like, honestly, like white cis performers and everything, people who believe that, what is it that people were like saying online where it's like the line, the face-eating tiger hasn't eaten my face yet, so it won't.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kind
I
of
never thought the leopards would eat my
my
face.
face. That's the people I thought about. I said, well, what's the modern equivalent? It's the people in the performance scene that we see every day, where it's like the
Mm,
leopard in every my face. Drag won't go away. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. It's the attitude of we'll be fine. It'll be fine when it probably won't be. So taking historical context, applied performances, and then current context within a shared thing that I know my audience could understand. My audience is mainly performers because it's a lot of drag people going to other drag stuff or
hmm.
performers enjoying drag. So you're like in the musical theater or you're in the TV music. But I know that they can relate to the performer experience. And so I take that familiar thing and pair it with musical theater, which might be why Ryder slowly told me, he said, I don't usually like musical theater and I don't like musical theater numbers, but this didn't really feel exactly like musical theater. I was like, yeah. It's an independent performance instead of it being an overall narrative. So in this one little song, you've condensed an entire narrative into just basically your face. You're not even singing.
Yeah, I really like that. The synthesis of looking at other interpretations, looking at the historical context when this was originally made, and then, yeah, I think that's really a key element of making a new number that will stick with people, that will engage people both in the moment and when they're thinking back on it later,
Mhm.
is that you're creating a new narrative that is still mindful of what was already there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not erasing its intended meaning at all, but perhaps blossoming it.
Mm, I really like that. There are so many places we can go from there, but first, I want to talk more about what cabaret as a musical and work of art means to you in today's political landscape. How does this musical and this song resonate with you when you approach it now?
I was introduced to cabaret about, I'd say 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. It always been on my peripheral, but I kind of considered it to be something like Sweet Charity, like another Fosse film,
Mm,
where it's like, oh, it's got a meaning, don't get me wrong, but it's not like the most thing in the world. It's a bit empty. But I listened when the 2021 new cast version came out. I listened to a couple of those songs. I think I saw a clip of Don't Tell Mama, maybe
mm,
by, gosh, that chick from Euphoria, who's a Nepo baby who's actually really good at acting. She played Maud Apatow, right? Maud
yeah.
Apatow. She played Sally Bowles, and I saw her performance of it in London. I was like, this is actually very funny. And that's what brought me in first. So I was like, okay, what is this? And I watched it, and it's 2022.
Mm,
And I'm like, oh shit, that's where we're headed, like pretty immediately. And so I started telling people, like, I mean, I hang out with very like-minded people. It's not like people knew that this wasn't happening, but I was like, hey, there's this musical cabaret. And it's this pretty perfect explanation about like it's like the Weimar Republic, what's happening right now, and this first person perspective of what young, like caution to the wind, what's the word I'm looking like for like like bohemians, you know? It's like what the bohemian lifestyle was then. A lot of my friends I find live the bohemian lifestyle now. The Weimar Republic versus now in America have a insane amount of parallels. And so I was like, hey guys, this musical is literally what's going on now. And people weren't really listening or blah blah blah. They'd
mm,
like know like, oh, things are really bad, but like it's not like it's Nazi Germany. I'm like, no guys, like I'm pretty sure like this is about to be Nazi Germany. Like for real, for real. And it's not me being like inflammatory, like pretty sure it's about to happen. And a lot of people kind of knew that was coming. They just didn't want to face the reality. It's not even that people were like, no, that would never happen. They all knew.
mm,
And the brain has a beautiful little thing that a lot of people like without an anxiety disorder, this is like what the brain should naturally do, where it kind of pushes back worries that are too big for your own individual body to solve, and it pushes them back, suppresses them so that you can go about your day without freaking the fuck out at every second. A lot of people with an anxiety disorder kind of lack this blockage to a certain extent, and that's what causes anxiety disorders. I found myself during COVID completely unable to normalize it in that way because I
mm,
was like, hey guys, this isn't something you should normalize. Still, I'm quite afraid of COVID in a way where like most people's brains have normalized. I'm still quite afraid of the big F, even though a lot of people's brains, even in this moment, are normalizing it. As I'm going around trying to convince people to watch Cabaret, because I'm like, this is about to happen, this is hugely relevant. They're not listening. I sit people down eventually. I have a bootleg of a 2022 Broadway version, and I'm like, hell fucking yes. Sit the fuck down. I got it from like a kid on TikTok when I still had TikTok.
Yeah.
I was in the comments and I was like, hey, any of you kids got bootlegs? And one emailed one to me. I gave
Oh
him
my
my
God.
email, which was a little dangerous, but
Well, that's so real though, because I remember a few years ago, I went around on Tumblr asking for the falsettos pro shot, and
yeah.
it was shared to me on Google Drive, which was, yeah, really not safe, but
But
I got to see falsettos.
oh, and I love the falsetto pro shot. It's funny because it was on Think TV, it was on PBS, so they had to censor some of it.
Yeah, no, I remember I was so mad. It was specifically Chess ain't how your boyfriend thinks. He would never
Yeah.
say that. He would never say that.
No. Yeah. No, but I'm with you. I'm like that the censorship was funny. Especially everybody with a quick aside, the part where they're like, she saves lives and I save chicken fat. How am I supposed to fucking deal with that? Like that's
Yeah.
funny.
That's funny. Both of the fucks in the play are said by the lesbians, and they take them
Yeah.
away.
Oh, well, that's basically lesbian erasure.
Exactly.
That's not okay. I don't
Can't believe.
stand for that.
I mean, I support PBS. I want us to continue funding PBS. Don't
Oh
get me
God, I
wrong.
guess I support. Oh
But
no. I just support PBS, but
I support PBS. I don't support that one specific decision. But please support PBS.
please support PBS. Please, how am I mom is my mom supposed to watch Call the Midwife now?
DVDs from the library. That's
I
what my mom's
guess.
been doing, but it's not the same.
Oh, that's sweet, but no, it's not the same because you don't get Rick Steves in the middle.
Mm-mm.
But no, so I'm like begging people and people are watching Cabaret and I did. I had my friend Emily, she like turned to me in my living room and she said, "That's us." And I said, "Yes, girl." I said, "Yes, that's us." And so when I first sang Cabaret proper at Mix Zephyr, I was warning people. I mean, I think is any, and there's this really funny tweet where it's like the most annoying theater kids you know are about to go perform Cabaret and saying they're doing a social movement. And there's some truth to that. That's funny. That's funny. But I was like, hey, like this is the lifestyle a lot of you are heading towards. This is what you idealize. Idealizing this in today's world leads to this. And this is not great. And the song, quick aside to that song, it's also a song of like complete reserve. Like she's just reserved herself to her life and given up.
Mm.
M Money instead is a more proactive, like aggressive song. It's a song of an aggressor. The song itself feels evil. It's bad. And it's not a song of like, oh, well, what do we do? It's a song of this is happening. What are you gonna do for yourself? When the chips are down, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna run? What are you gonna do? And the answer is like that question isn't even loaded with the moral aspect of it. It's purely asking you, what are you gonna do? And it's a question we should all be asking ourselves. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. The song, especially looking at Alan Cummings' delivery and the way that you like embody that in your like physical movement, because I see like the arm movements and the eye contact that go into it, and there's like a growl under the vocals. He's cutting off the ends of lines.
It's aggressive.
It's aggressive.
It's like he's begging. It honestly feels like Alan Cummings in the 90s is begging people to see what's happening.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't want to get too down because it's obvious. We're all talking about it, but the song is then a comfort within it where it's like, this is always happening. It's the sadness of this is always going to happen and this will always be happening, but this will always be happening. And there is usually a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how far away it
Yeah.
happens. It's secular. And a lot of this is so funny. A lot of Broadway musicals are a great comfort for me in that fact. Broadway's about 100 years, I'd say, Broadway proper. And so
Mm.
you have that perfect 100-year cycle of like, oh, well, I can go back to blah, blah, blah musical during blah, 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 and it makes me feel better about blah, blah, blah. You know?
Mm.
It's all these cultural touchstones.
The sense of the cycle, and I think that leads us back into how everything becomes a reference. Like you're looking back as you're carrying it forward.
Yeah. It kind of comes back to the thing I said where nothing's new almost, where it's like
Mm.
everything's a reference, but I don't know, a reference can be very, very fun.
One thing that we've talked about before off the mic is all of the references that you packed into the costuming
Yeah.
for this number. Tell me more about that. What were some of the previous costumes and iterations you were looking back at as you designed it?
So I looked at pretty much every major MC. So we started with like Joel Grey, who had the very like little pinched lip, gelled down little hair. It's really funny. I think they had a cigar. I did not have a cigar. I'd love to have a cigar though, pinched between my fingers. But then like the main outfit, oh, and the suit pants that I put with. I had a little suit and suit
Hmm.
pants with it, but the main outfit was inspired by Alan Cummings' sort of like strappy one piece with the little Joel Grey bow tie that he puts on the front. It's a sort of like BDSM piece, but it's
Hmm.
the way I do it at least, it's a nice knit, so it's really easy to dance in. It looks real cute, I think.
Hmm.
The makeup is fashioned after I think that their production probably is wrapped up by now, but the Ukrainian MC that's how
Oh.
they did their makeup. And obviously, the prevalence of there being a cabaret show in Ukraine at this time is very significant. People were following it as the war goes on, and it was quite beautiful to see these play actors, these seasoned actors who play many roles around year. They basically live and work for this one theater. They have not fled Ukraine. They still believe so much in their country and their art that they were willing to stay and do it, and they were willing to do cabaret in the face of this regime. So the makeup is after that MC. It's quite fun. It's a large mustache and some eye color,
Mm.
which is like it's almost like watercolor.
Yeah.
But the gloves are very much meant to be like, I see a lot of MCs with gloves. One, I'm pretty sure that the Ukrainian one does. I think maybe Joel Grey has gloves, but like generally when I see like other productions with the MC, I saw a lot of gloves. So I was like, and then there's a fun nod to like the everyday costume. But yeah, every aspect of it is a little reference.
That's really interesting. I didn't specifically with the gloves, I hadn't thought about that before, but it does seem pretty ubiquitous. I'm not sure. I mean, we could talk a lot about the symbolism of gloves. There's like a certain class symbolism that can be associated with gloves. There's the like most obvious visual language of like you're hiding something. And then, on a practical level, it gives you something else to take off if you want to.
Yes, yeah. I think all of those are exactly why they choose to do that.
I'm thinking a bit about some of the logistics of the track itself. There's some, especially as we get to like the 2/3 mark of the song, there's some call and response between the MC and the ensemble. How do you usually like to play that when there's like other voices in a track that you're lip syncing?
In this one specifically, there's not so much of a lull that it's like the part where it's like they're all saying money and a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
girls are singing it, but the MC is not really. I think in this number it lends itself well to it because in the fiction of the song and the performance, I am the MC. I am the
Mm-hmm.
main man singing. So the background voices, it's like, oh, that makes sense that it would be there. But there have been other times where it's like there's stretches of instrumentals or moments of call and response. And usually for a call and response that's not there, I then over exaggerate my call. So like this is so funny, in a lot of Ninja Sex Party songs, uh
Yeah.
Danny Sexbang will like be like, yeah, crowd, and then it'll be like, yeah. And so like in that yeah crowd part, I would be like extra animated, like hand on hip, one side, like yeah, and then you listen for it, and then in listening it kind of does help the crowd feel, even if they're not participating, I think psychologically the crowd still, at least I feel like when I'm in the crowd and I hear that
Hmm.
kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, we are being included. So I just over exaggerated it. Or if it's like instrumental, which I guess you could also use the example of this song with the middle, I will do a bit during it. I'm not a stunt queen. I can't do any stunts, I don't think. I can't even do a cartwheel.
I mean,
But
you can do a pretty impressive backbend. I would call that a stunt.
oh, I can do that, but I think that's because I'm hypermobile. I
Okay.
think that might be because I'm hypermobile, but that actually is pretty cool. It took me a while
Yeah.
to get that, but one day I was like, wait, and I just kept going backwards. But it's fun to do comedy stunts where it's like I love queens who gear up to do like a crazy dip and then they're like, bitch, you thought I could. Sometimes I'll do stuff like that. Sometimes
Mm.
I'll do a little bit of audience interaction, like specifically like I'll talk over the music if there's it's I think rock concert. Like when there's
Mm.
like "Bam, bam, bam, how you guys doing tonight?" Yeah, so like it sometimes in laws of music I'll plan moments where it's like, "And how are you guys tonight? You're doing good? That's great." And then back into thing. Again, I guess anything if I'm gonna vamp, it's gonna make the audience feel like part of it. Because I feel like if you vamp and it's just all about you, then the audience is still just stuck there like, okay, and
But instead, you can take it, especially given the challenge context that you're performing this in, those little moments give you more opportunities to engage the audience. That's cool.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, every opportunity of silence is just another moment to engage the audience would be a great way to put it.
I really like that both as like a craft insight and also thinking for myself. I'm always so intimidated by instrumentals. I'm gonna like if I'm like mixing it, I'm gonna shorten up that instrumental as much as I
Oh,
can.
yes. Yes, I do the same thing. I just did that for something. I was like,
Nope, nope. Yeah, I did a mix recently where it was like I counted it up. I used the instrumental for a song transition and like it ended up working out. I ended up being really happy with the performance, but then I still as I was like preparing it, I was like counting like, "Oh my God, that's like 15 seconds. What am I supposed to do with 15
for
seconds?"
15 seconds.
Which is actually turned out to be much faster than I had feared it was. But
15 seconds is enough to travel somewhere, though. Travel downstage, travel upstage, travel to the
exactly.
crowd.
Yeah, I used the moments to move from like do some levels, like getting from the floor to getting upright to like moving props around.
I see. That's great. You see, yes, exactly. You get it. It comes natural to so many different kinds of performers. When you have that like innate talent for performing, a lot of the formulas that I learned in like proper performance, like education, just come naturally.
Yeah. Eventually people get comfortable. It comes through. It comes through, it shows eventually. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about this particular song or the song lyrics that we haven't covered?
Let me think about that for a second. I would like to just say that the lyrics of the song became pretty popular after the Liza Minnelli little Joel Grey number with it because I
Hmm.
think the movie really trivializes like a lot of the musical and sanitizes it to the point where it became pretty popular from that.
Hmm.
It became pretty popular with like a lot of like gay culture and stuff, and then like people loop back around like post, oh, Liza Minnelli's so fun to like, oh my God, what are they saying? And Money's one of those songs when you haven't any coal in your stove and you freeze in the winter and you curse at the wind at your face, when you have any shoes, this person is houseless, shoeless, foodless, clothesless. The visual is terrifying. It's horrible. It's very, very sad. It's a warning of poverty, of persecution and poverty, which is something that so many people face all across the world. I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds so stupid to say, people face poverty all across. No, but
But
seriously, I
yeah.
so many people, again, in going back to the brain normalization, they don't think about these things seriously on a
Mhm.
day-to-day basis. It's terrifying to me, the thought of being so cold and so hungry. It's horrifying. It's horrible. It should
Mhm.
terrify anyone. It should terrify them enough to do something about it for other people. And I feel like this song has the capacity to shoehorn in a sort of difficult message for a lot of people, which is poverty is not just sad as much as it is dangerous.
Yeah, I do think that it's not just the instrumentation of the song that's very sinister.
Mhm.
It's also in the imagery. It's also in like what it's making you think about. I'm looking at that same section, and like there's little messages. There's like little extra like jabs. Like it's criticizing like religious
Sure.
hypocrisy with the
Yeah.
line about the fat little pastor.
People who are well fed, who have moral messages to say, will tell you that it's going to be okay, but they're not starving.
Hmm. And you were talking earlier about addressing this song to two performers in a way, and I think that thinking about how so many drag performers are like relying on their tips to live, and it's the way the whole like song and dance of like a drag number in a way is begging the audience for money,
It
and
is.
you're dramatizing that
I
in
am.
all of this.
That's the exact thing. That is exactly it. It's like, yes, and give me money and give them money. And it goes both ways in the way where I'm like, oh, there's an ant on my bed.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm sorry. I did have to kill that ant because I didn't want it to stink up my bed with the pheromones.
No,
But you're gonna have to forgive me for killing that ant. I feel a bit bad about that.
I just want to say on the record that I just watched Edward Lygma like fling an ant off his bed like it was that caught air.
Yeah, it was a bit heartless. That's why I apologize. Um, since I mean, I'm speaking so high morally, and I'm just like, oh, fuck this ant, kill this thing. No, where were we? I'm so sorry.
We were talking about dramatizing the way that
Oh,
performers beg for money.
yeah. I'm addressing the performers and the audience. The audience in the way of like, look, this song is literally telling you our song and dance. We're up here. A lot of us look skinny as hell or look a little famished, tired. I know so many people who go up on stage and I'm like, you look tired. You look like you're having fun. It's not like I'm not happy you're here, but God, do you look like you could use like a day of sleep? It's like talking to the audience, like, look what they're doing. But it's also then turning to the performer and being like, look what you're doing. If this is what you want to be doing, that's okay. That's beautiful. Till the end of time, there will always be the starving artist.
Mm,
But you have to recognize that's what you're getting into. And are you ready for that? Are you okay? What are you gonna do? Again, what are you
what are
gonna
you
do?
gonna do?
What's the audience gonna do? What are you gonna do? What's the host gonna do? The host in this situation, who's basically like the quote unquote MC, which is literally the MC of the night,
Hmm.
but it's the MC character. Are you going to uplift your performers? Are you going to help them? Or are you going to take a larger cut and neglect them? Like, it's really asking everybody in the room, what are you going to do about it, huh?
Mm,
I don't know if that
yeah.
comes across, but at least that's what I imagine when I perform it. So.
There are so many layers of meaning in it. This is why I like having these conversations because we get to dissect it on both like an outward and an inward level.
And it's funny because there's like, sure, there's like 100 numbers I've got up my sleeve. Like, okay, dentist from Little Shop of Horrors. That's one note. That man's a masochist, and it's funny. But I also have like numbers like these where it's like, no, I actually practiced this for like a year before I
Mm,
should, like weekly, thinking about it, writing it down, thinking about it, performing it, being like, this dance move, no, this move to the word. It really mattered to me. So it has like this insane level of care. And I think to the average viewer, you might not see any difference. And that's pretty good. That speaks to my ability. But it's important to me that from performer to performer, they get to enjoy the number on like, oh, look how well he read, look how well he worried about that, you know? At least
yeah.
I love watching people sing mainly, and I can tell that they thought about how they were going to sing that.
Mm, yeah. I'm thinking about your blocking notes had to go crazy for this.
I love taking notes like that. My favorite thing to do, and I wish I did it more, I just don't have access to a printer, and printing is expensive.
Mm,
Oh my gosh. If you guys take one thing away from this podcast episode, printing anything is expensive. But I like to print out the sheet music or the lyrics and write around that. And then you can do it in
Hmm.
different colors and different boxes for different emotions, different highs. All music, all performance, all drag numbers. If we're going back to an aria structure, a little lesson here, and this can be just for us because we're on the video, but
Hmm. Hmm.
you you start down here at the beginning of the number and you end up here. And it's not a linear line. You go up and then you plateau, and then you go down and up and plateau. You hit something,
Hmm.
you go down a good number, pause, up even more, over, up, and then climax. And I think that most musical numbers are like that. I think
Yeah.
the common pop song is set up perfectly to do that. And I think that all drag people should do it just like that. No linear lines, everybody. Think about what you're about to sing, think about what you're about to perform, and think about how important that would be narratively. Like if you're singing, gosh, let me think like SOS by Rihanna. The first
Hmm.
SOS, you're like kind of like a diva. You're like Rihanna, but by the last SOS, girl, what if you're in danger? And the last one, you're like, SOS, help. That's funny. And that'll get
Yeah.
you like maybe $7 more.
Yeah. No, I'm
I don't
thinking.
know. I think I babble a little. I'm
No.
not on ADHD meds.
That is literal. That is what we're here for. The more I can get you to talk, the more we have to share with people. This is good.
Yay.
And I think about that too a lot in terms of narrative. And I often end up thinking about it from the perspective of mixing because most of the performances that I end up doing are mixing. And honestly, one, I like doing that. I really like listening for that transition. But part of it is because it like gives you a built-in point of escalation where like
Yeah.
something that I kind of worry about, and part of why I don't do like it's pretty rare for me to do a song where I include like every different chorus of the song. Like earlier this week I had, oh my god, how many? I think there were I kept in like two choruses from the same long, and I was talking to my drag dad Macho Grande, like, do you think this is repetitive? Do you think they're still gonna like it? And he was like, they're gonna like it. It's
That's
fine.
a song. They're all repetitive. But I do the exact same thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because it's like when I'm thinking, I guess I'm also thinking about this from like a creative writing perspective where like that's my background. I'm like, you have to have this like economy of language of like, if it's in here, it needs to be doing something. So then when I'm thinking about like, sometimes I will see, not this is not like aimed at anyone in particular, I promise, but sometimes I have seen performances from, especially from like newer performers, where it's like they are doing a straight song or they're doing a mix with like multiple choruses of a song, and I'm like, you did the same choreo for both choruses though. I don't know if they're the same. I don't know why
What's
they're
the
both
new
in
thing
here.
you're telling me? And it's just because they're nervous.
Yeah,
I found like at literally every single time if someone's doing the same thing, it's like, well, I'm a little nervous to do something. And it's like, no, just do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Do whatever. If something's bad, they'll tell you. Recently, I heard a story about a drag queen whose number was that she douched and then shit on stage, so you can always do better than her. What the hell?
What? I don't even.
Yeah.
What would
Hey
the?
man, I'm all for freaky shit too, but the way that she describes it, I'm like, I don't feel like the audience consented. I was like,
No.
no, that's crazy. No, but the creative writing thing is exactly it. Everything has to have a purpose. Why is it there? Why are you doing it? If it has no purpose, then you might as well not do it. Literally every time I'm performing, like my high school a cappella director Kat just comes into my mind, like Emperor
Mhm.
Palpatine, and I remember this moment where like we're singing a cappella, so it's all of this pop chorus songs, and chorus bridge, and then it was a chorus, and she was like, whoa, whoa, everybody stop. Your first chorus and then your bridge was great. You started escalating and then you dropped that down back down for the second chorus. Why de-escalate like that? Like it's like
Mhm.
boring. And I always think about that. That's so surprisingly stuck with me. She was 22 years old, I think, when she
Mhm.
was a cappella, which I guess you don't have to be, like what would you need to teach a cappella? To play the piano? Kinda. Enough to play scales. But she was really good. Good for her.
Mhm.
She was a choreographer, so.
Mm.
And my a cappella director before that was Brian Sharp. So and, and let me tell you what, four people in the audience just went, wait, oh my God, what? He was a really famous a cappella music director, and what he would
Oh,
do is he would compose a lot of the music for like our group. Like the year above me is the one that he mainly, and then my year is when he like left, but he
oh,
like composed it for people, and instead of putting like soprano alto, he would put Sarah, Caitlin, like the people in the group. And I met a girl once, and they were like, "Wait, wait, wait, I was a Sarah," and I was like, "I know Sarah." That's so funny. So
that's wow.
niche instrument stuff is like crazy. Niche music stuff's crazy.
No, and that does seem like I love hearing about the intricacies of like all these like different fine arts programs, like from both from school
They
to
all
school
take
and
themselves deadly seriously. Any fine arts program I've ever met, they take themselves so seriously. And it's
yeah.
not like they shouldn't, but it is crazy.
And there's such I don't know, all of the internal like just the inner workings of every fine arts program from school to school and discipline to discipline fascinates me. And I always end up on like,
It's like they each have their own dictionary.
yeah.
It's crazy. I exactly know what you mean. I'm like, this is absolute. It's why I like dating people who are in such completely different fields than me because I'm like,
Mm,
yeah, I would actually love to hear about harvesting grass. Yeah.
yeah.
Why not?
Like I want to understand. I I want to
Yeah,
collect
I'd
all
love
the
to
disciplines.
understand. Oh, I was a question kid. My parents were pretty neurodivergent themselves, so like
Mm,
when I was a kid and I'd ask questions, they'd answer me. And so I never stopped asking questions, which is really good. That can be really good. Also, it makes people think I'm stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm ready to learn though.
yeah. I don't know why. And I think I mean part of it is, like structural ableism, but we do.
Oh, 100% I've been in situations where I'm like, I think you think I'm stupid, and I think it's because you think I have autism, and I think that's insane.
It doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense.
And there's an idea where you're like punished for asking questions or that like asking questions means that you like
Asking
don't
questions is
understand, but I want I want to do it correctly. That's why I'm asking you so many questions.
never stop wanting to learn. The second you stop learning, the second you stop wanting to learn is the second you die. I heard an old
Mhm.
person say that once, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
okay, I'll never stop learning.
that's real.
And you know what? She was, and I think it was this old person. If not this old person, I'm also thinking of had said something similar, but like she was like homophobic, and now she completely wasn't because she never stopped learning. She was like, I didn't understand it. I grew up in the South in like a Baptist church, and then she was like, my husband told me one day that gay people don't choose that, and I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, that's fucking crazy. That's all it took for you to not be homophobic anymore. You should have done that sooner.
Single-handedly ended homophobia. Wow.
Second of all, I really wish that more people would listen like that, though. That's
Mhm.
crazy. So good for her. I hope she's well.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, I know. She's fine. Welter from the library.
While we're talking about like niche ecosystems, I just love libraries. I just love the people that you meet who are
Yes.
regulars at a library.
Yeah, libraries are really delightful, and the people that work at libraries are really nice because they study library sciences, which is
Hmm.
like I love learning the profession. Like library sciences are like I like to organize. To my knowledge, it's like I like to organize, I like to learn about things, I like to manage, and I'm like that's hot and sexy. So all the librarians and like step above librarian, you know what I mean? Like the people like administrative that
Hmm.
I met I worked at a library, not for the library, but at the library, if you know what I mean. Like it's
Yeah,
really bad
yeah.
for them, but I worked there. And so I talked to a lot of librarians, and they were all delightful. They were all so smart and aloof in a way that I really liked because I was kind of aloof.
Hmm.
And so it's nice to be able to speak to them, and I would ask them about like, the library, and they'd have answers. And what really struck me is that every person I meet that works at a library is really concerned with community.
Hmm.
And it makes perfect sense, but every person.
Yeah, it's really amazing, and it's like it's a helping profession. Like you're going into this because you love information and you love giving people access to information, and I think that that's really cool.
I think so too. The library, I actually, you know what? I'm not from Cleveland, but let me tag the Warren shout out Warrensville Heights Public Library branch. They have sublimation and direct-to-garment printing, a long arm knitting machine, a digital embroidery machine, a serger, a cover stitch, three sewing machines, and an entire children's area where it's basically it's almost akin to a daycare. Like they even have like lunches there on the weekend and stuff.
Wow.
And also a lot of the books I saw were about Black and African American like history and then African history as well. And I was like, okay, thank fuck there is somewhere, reserving and saving all of this literature that literally we just saw recently around here. Somebody had rounded up a bunch of books and burned them.
Hmm.
But this specific Warrensville Public Library branch seemed to specifically care so much about preserving American Black literature and history, and then also creating a space for the community to exist in affordably. And I appreciate that. And whether or not you include this in the podcast, I don't care, but it was really beautiful.
I'm going to include this in the podcast. We're going, we
I hope
need
that
to shout
people
out
go there.
libraries.
It was
Yeah,
really nice. I love libraries,
honestly,
obviously.
yeah. No, and honestly, while we're here, I recently recorded an episode of this podcast in the main branch of the Lakewood Public Library. I was
Yeah.
able to. I called them up. I was
Rent a
like, "Hey,
room?
I want a study room." They gave me a study room. I didn't even.
Yeah.
I got a library card like when I came there, but I didn't even like
You
have
need a
to already
library
have
card.
it to
They
reserve
did
it.
it for you there. And I put it out
Yes.
immediately on site.
Yeah. It was so honestly, yeah. Community resource, community lifeline, support your local library.
Yes, yeah, and if you need help with childcare, libraries provide spaces where you're able to work on something on your laptop as well as also having a space for your children in the children's area, which I found
Hmm.
quite unique. Also, this place, the amount of teens I saw
Hmm.
there, I was flabbergasted. You like teens at the library. Hell fucking yeah. Hell yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like honestly, from ages, I mean, really, for my whole childhood, but especially when I was a teenager, like my local library, which is no longer local to me, but my local library at the time was like the main space that I like met other queer teenagers. Like that was my primary social space outside the home. I don't think, I don't know that people always think about like the way that libraries are not just information resources, but also like community
Community.
resources and social spaces, but they are.
The Dayton Public Library, where I grew up, it's got four different branches, and they renovated it when I was a kid. It was really cool. It has a fire and earth, a water and an air branch. It's kind of fun, and all of the art
Oh.
in it is like to the different elements. But the big one downtown is water, and at the moment, it's unfortunately it's been taken over by a bit of gang violence and stuff like that. But
Mm.
around when I was a child, it was really open to the public, and they had like a little. It's really interesting. They had an amphitheater area, they had a little
Mm.
cafe, but they had just the best teen area. It was like pretty open so that you didn't feel like anything dangerous was going to happen, but secluded enough on the second floor that you didn't feel like you were being just like watched in a fishbowl. So I used to like hop over to the adult comic book section and get like a nice, like inappropriately complicated graphic novel and go over to like the rocking, like cool teen chairs by the window. And then, yeah, I spent a lot of my in between hours after school doing that. Long live the library.
Long live the library.
I grew up on PBS too. Like, I'm with you. Like, we need to save these things.
Save
What are we gonna
PBS!
do? What are we gonna do? I can't believe that Netflix had to buy Sesame Street. How
Yeah,
apocalyptic.
yeah. It's just, it's so, because
It's
especially
apocalyptic.
when, like, in such recent years, it's like obviously I am very concerned about, like, the privatization of so much media and, like, streaming services and all of that. But then, like, what we also, in the
You
face
need
of
it.
fascism,
It's exactly like it's exactly like during like Rockefeller's time when JP Morgan like had to personally bail out the US. It's like the private that's actually when this all kind of fucking started too. But
ooh,
like privatization stepping in to save government resources helped it in the moment and now we have monopolies. Damn. I know that's not the exact order, everybody. Don't give me historian sass.
I was only a history minor. I should not be held to these standards.
I just went to Catholic school. I did crazy education at Catholic school.
Honestly, I hear that. Yeah.
They're really into education and science, which I found
Mm,
really surprising, but like it's like a lot of STEM.
mm. No, yeah, that does map that matches up with what I've heard from
But they're
from
like
people.
really into environmentalism, so like it
Hmm.
kind of makes sense there. They're like huge in saving the environment, which is like confusing. It's like, okay, so like how are these politicians not lobbying for all religious people I meet want to save the environment of every religion because
Hmm.
they're like, this is important to me. Obviously,
Hmm.
because it's been bestowed upon you. It's like a gift in most religions. And so like I don't know why they're not leveling climate change and like getting religious people on board of climate change that way.
Hmm.
Guys, we need to use propaganda better. Better propaganda.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about in college and on my own, I've like learned so much about like specifically Catholic like anti-war and like anti-nuclear weapons like
Yeah,
activism.
anti-death penalty.
Yeah. But it does so often seem to be like a smaller group without that much like political power. It's like a group of individual like nuns or priests or monks and not, like
It's like the intended, yes, it's like the intended meaning of the literature executed by ground floor Catholic like people, like brothers, sisters, nuns. But then
mhm,
when you get up to like the archdiocese, then they're overtaken by the natural, like whatever like the mental phenomenon of power.
mhm.
Where you're like, well, now I have more people to think about.
Yeah. Fucked
Boo.
up. Evil.
Boo.
Boo.
We have anything positive that we could end this on besides boo the archdiocese?
Yeah. I want to ask you a couple more questions about Kingpin.
Please do.
Yeah, that can be hopefully some happy notes. So during the competition, what was your favorite costume that you made?
Probably the moth one. The
Yeah.
moth one, but like the jacket. The inside is
Mm.
a one-leg jumpsuit, which I think a lot of people might not know. It's like a one-leg jumpsuit, but the
Oh,
outside is a cocoon style coat, and it's like got like feathers for like the moth hair and stuff, and it's I'm looking at it right now. Like it's cool. I'm
yeah.
happy I have that.
Yeah, I really like that one too. Just the presentation of it and the I'm also like really fascinated by moths, so like that helped for me personally. Like, oh my God, I know what he's doing.
I'm a huge moth fan. They're nighttime butterflies.
Exactly. Then they're like the only like bug like insect creature that I haven't like been somewhat afraid of. Like I'm afraid of spiders. I'm afraid of bees. I know we need spiders. I know we need bees. I just like get
I
nervous when they're
know, me
near me.
too. I know how you feel. I
Yeah.
know we need them. I am afraid of them. We had a bunch of honeybees coming out of our window, which was like a nightmare because I'm afraid of bees, but I'm not gonna kill these honeybees.
Oh,
Absolutely the fuck not. So we had to put them in little cups and bring them outside.
yeah. But moths, it's like, yeah,
Moths are sweet.
a moth can be
What
in
do
my
they hit
space. That's
you?
my friend.
They hit you? Well, okay. I loved having moths in my space till I got like older, and now I own a bunch of vintage stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In that case, they're your enemy.
And now every time I see a moth, I'm like, oh no! But like I'm not willing to kill it, so like I have to catch it in my hand. And then I
Very
feel bad
ethical.
because I can feel it beating around in there, and it's like I'm helping you. I'm doing you a service.
Yeah, you are saving that moth's life as opposed to that ant.
Mhm. No, the ant's got friends. The moth is solitary.
That's true.
I don't need that ant telling its friends about it in here. It's nice in here. I don't want guests.
No, another question for you. So you have some pretty significant competition experience now. So even before winning Kingpin, you made it to top 5 of Zephyr in season 4, right?
Yes, yeah.
I only made it to 1 week. It was the roast of Comatose.
That one was great. Didn't I throw up on that one? Yes!
Yes.
I had a health episode during that week, and that was really embarrassing. But I also knew if I did not tell everybody on the mic right then and there in that moment that it was for because of a health episode, those mean ass queen judges would have taken points off.
Mhm.
100%, swear to God, hand to heart. That's why I had to do that.
Yeah. No, and you still played it off. It was still really
Yeah,
good.
because I was like, well, back to it. It sucked, don't get me wrong, but I really liked my costume for that week too.
I remember that.
It was like a red devil thing.
Yeah.
I had fun. But throwing up didn't really matter that much to me in the end.
Mm. So, what advice do you have for kings who want to get into competing?
For kings who want to get into competing, you're gonna have to play in the queen space, and yeah, it's just because it's where it started. So you're gonna have to play by their rules, and if you play by their rules and do your thing, you'll sneak your thing into their thing, and then you'll trick them into liking your thing, a king thing. It's kind of true. Like, I love doing lingerie in my personal and like drag life. I think it's fun to make. I think it's fun to wear.
Hmm.
Lingerie is obviously something that's more classically like queen-like. So I would put on lingerie, but I'm also gonna put on a big stinking mustache and like suit
Hmm.
jacket. It's like, oh, well, hold on. Now I'm a little confused.
Hmm.
This is giving very mask, but it's something I, as a queen, in my theoretical, love. That's crazy. But also, more is better. That's not true for anything else. Pretty much anything else, unless you're doing a drag competition, because you're gonna go up there in something like in my experience, I've made costumes where I'm like, okay, and then I'll have this little matte part to balance it out visually, and then I'll do design here, but not here, so that it'll all flow really well. I get up on stage and they're like, why isn't the whole thing covered in glitter? And I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. I
Hmm.
forgot the game. Everything must be covered in something.
That's, yeah, yeah, that's so true.
And it's true. I'd love to tell you it's like, no, get out there in your like understated sleek suit, because that's what I'd be doing. No, you're gonna
No.
have to cover it in glitter if you're gonna compete. Radius lines is the blueprint for a king competing in a competition, I think. The blueprint where it's like this is the mix of masculine and feminine. Somebody who doesn't even do like a full mug often. Like it's not like now they do like a lot more makeup and stuff like that. But when they first started competing, they didn't even do often like the full mug in sense of like a queen look with the lashes and the contour. They had like beautiful eye makeup or maybe a little lip look or something like that, but they mostly put all of their time and energy into like their accessories and stuff like that. I think that's a good place to focus as a king competing.
Yeah. Radius lines. Cleveland's
Radius
best drag
lines,
king. Radius lines.
the drag king you are. Cleveland's best drag king.
He's so cool. His
He
his
is very cool.
his his silhouettes and like yeah,
Stunning.
he's always so sparkly but made of multiple different materials. Yeah.
I thought we were gonna compliment how nice he is. I was like, he's very
He's
nice.
also very nice. He is. I've like yeah. Yeah, he's so nice. He like always like comes up and says hi at shows.
Yes. Yeah, yes. I think it's a real effort. You decide whether or not, okay, I'm popular, I'm good at what I do. Am I going to be an asshole? And Radius Lines decide not to be an asshole, and that's great. I don't know if Radius Lines could even be an asshole. They seem like such a sweet person naturally. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I've met a lot of assholes. Not as many in drag, but I mean like a lot of talented people in
Hmm.
fashion. And it's like, you didn't have to be mean.
Hmm.
Don't have to.
Yeah. I'm s- I'm so glad that we could take this minute to appreciate Radius Lines because I love Radius Lines so much.
Great guy. Great guy. Me too.
One last question. What opportunities are you most excited about now that you have the Kingpin title?
I'm excited to be able to go places and be taken a little bit more seriously as a general. It's
Mm.
nice to now, oh, blah, 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 season two winner Kingpin. Kingpin, oh, it's run by Ryder Slowly. You know Ryder. Yeah, you know Ryder. Yeah. And it gives you some credibility. Now I feel like it's not quite come to fruition in a way, but I feel I feel people in my walls, in my peripheral. They're looking in like, should I book
Hmm.
him? Should I not? They're following me, they're looking. I can tell that Kingpin has gotten me like a little bit of outward recognition, even though perhaps it hasn't gotten me like, oh, 1,000 immediate like bookings like Zephyr might. But I like this. This is nice. This credibility is nice. It's nice to have a little bit more visibility in the drag scene as well
Mm.
because I go out to events now and other drag performers are like, wait, I do know you. You won Kingpin. I saw a picture of you. That was really cool. And then because they know me, they want to talk to me. So then I get to ask about them immediately and be like, okay, well,
Hmm.
now that you know me, we don't even have to talk about me. Tell me about you. and it's really nice. It's a nice way to meet people. Also sometimes because I do live in Kent and I go out here, and the only bar to go out to really is Zephyr or Barfly, and I'm not going to Barfly,
Oh,
so Zephyr. Ooh, burn Barfly. I'll be in a line. Like I was in line at Fake Patty's Day and somebody was like, "Oh my God, you're the Rizzler." And I was like, "Yes." And they got a picture of me in line. It was really sweet.
aw,
Like it's moments like that.
yeah, definitely. And Kingpin is like a big deal. Like it's like
I
it
think so.
has national and international like followers. Like I saw that like this is I don't know how niche he is, but like you know the Ratatouille drag king, Percy non
No,
grata? Well,
I thought about pretending to know, but then I was
that's
like, that's a bit too strange for me to
no,
pretend to know.
no, I appreciate your honesty. But yeah, basically he's from the UK and he's doing a lot of King visibility like work in the UK. One of his most famous drag numbers, like one that like blew up on TikTok and then like it migrated from TikTok to Instagram, is one colloquially referred to as the Ratatouille funeral. Like he does it and like he like reveals to like the skeleton. He like takes off his hat and it reveals to like the skeleton of Remy the
I think
rat.
I saw that. I
Yeah,
think I have seen that.
yeah. Well, yeah, his name is Percy non grata, and he's really cool. And I bring him up just because I saw
Percy non grata is a very fun name.
it's really good. But yeah, he's like following like Kingpin and Ryder Solely, and I'm like, oh my god, like
Yeah, I
small
would have never
world.
guessed. Small world. And I guess with drag kings especially, it is a bit of a small world. Maybe now when I eventually move abroad, like I hope to do,
Mm,
somebody over there will know me. Who
yeah,
knows?
I think you're already getting there.
If nothing else, because of Ryder now, I'm always like, what, 1 degree off of Anya nerve.
Yeah,
So if nothing else, I can be like, drag? Drag race? Kind of
it's
like
a
that.
it's a good
I like that.
touchstone. All right, is there anything else you'd like to share that we haven't covered?
I don't think so. I feel like you do a very good job as an interviewer, getting head to toe.
Well, thank you. I was a journalism major for 3 months.
Oh wow! Well, I'll tell you what, it was formative 3 months.
Thank you.
Did you not want to
Um,
take the photos? Why did you drop out?
Okay, so basically, here's a little story. Basically, I went in. Started majoring in journalism like when I was like first a freshman because I had
Yeah.
been writing for the past. I did. So I went to Cleveland State, and for my junior and senior high school, I was only taking classes at Cleveland State. And while I was in high school doing the dual credit stuff, I was writing for CSU's Arts and Culture magazine, The Vindicator, and it was really fun. I've actually like written some like drag centric articles for it. I did a feature with like 10 different drag king interviews. I interviewed
Fun.
Himbo for that, Twisted, a few other people.
I bet it's crazy to interview him, Bo.
Yeah, it was it was fun. He's really fun. It was only like a 30-minute interview, but I still got like he ended up giving me a quote that I used to title the article. Like it was
Funny. You will. He'll say anything.
he will. All of that to say, I really enjoyed writing for that Arts and Culture magazine, and I was like, hey, I think I like this. What if I add journalism as one of my majors? Because I already knew I wanted to do English creative writing as one of my
Yeah.
majors. So I'm like, hey, what if I do journalism too? I can get to know AP style a little more, and I can also basically nobody can live off of creative writing. So I was thinking journalism could be like
Your supplemental.
yes. So I was thinking that could be like a more reliable source of freelance or maybe even one day contract work. But then,
I love you. We're gonna have to do a quick pause. As somebody who works corporate, it's so funny to hear somebody be like, freelance or maybe one day. A contract. Like I feel the exact same
yeah,
way. Like it's so funny. It's like, or maybe they'll even sign me to a contract and
maybe.
onboard me.
Oh my
Ooh.
God. Unheard of. Yeah, yeah, no, it's so I did that. I started the major. I like took like I was taking like 3 communications classes because I don't know how they do it at Kent, but like at CSU, communications and journalism are all under like one umbrella.
I think they might be under the same umbrella, if
Yeah.
not similar.
So then I started taking 3 classes, and I was actually doing really well in them. My professors for all of them were even like, "Yeah, this is good work. Like we can publish this. You're doing a really good job." But the reason I dropped out was because this my freshman year was fall 2020. So like the main
Oh,
thing to
okay.
interview people about was the presidential election. And I was like I like picked 3 of my classmates to interview, and what broke me was having to like keep a straight face during an interview where a guy was like very intently talking about his intent to vote for Trump and how like the Second Amendment was his number one issue. And like, it wasn't that I couldn't do it. What bothered me was that I could do it. Like that I was keeping a straight face like that.
And you didn't want to do that. You didn't want to do that. You could do that. That terrified you about yourself, and you don't want to do that. That's completely understandable. I don't know if I even have the capacity to keep a like face during that. So,
yeah. So that's the thing. I got a couple months into it, and I was like, I do not like the both sidesism that you end up with, that you have to do in journalism. And I think
neutrality.
Yes.
But even though it's you feel how you feel, you have to pretend to be neutral. Mm-hmm. And pretending to be neutral actually is fucking the worst.
It's the worst. And that's the thing where I'm like, I don't like the person that I will become if I continue to be good at this. 2, I don't know how much longer I can continue to be good at this. So then, I ended up
burnt out. Yeah, I imagine.
I ended up dropping that major, but I still wound up graduating with a English and gender studies degree, and then in the space that I would have filled with all those journalism classes, I just got a bunch of I minored in Africana studies and history and Spanish and philosophy instead. So like,
that's lovely. That's like what you know what? In case you were curious, I'm pretty sure that's really similar to what Fruitisha studied.
Ooh, cool.
Fruitisha Punch. You should talk to her about it sometime.
I should. Yeah, I think I've definitely been in the same room as Fruitisha Punch, but we've never like actually spoken. So we need to talk.
She's also like brilliant outside of drag. Like, I enjoy talking to them. I enjoy talking to like everybody though. So I don't know. I think I could tell you like, oh yeah, that tree, bro, that's my best friend.
Well, but I think that's one of your strengths though. Like you're easy to talk to, and like you make people feel like you're paying attention and that you want to know more about them. That's good.
That's good. I do. I am.
Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed having you, Edward.
Thank you. I really enjoyed being here.
Thank you for listening to Kings on the Aux. This episode featured New York City drag king Edward Lygma, aka the Rizzler, and was hosted by Cleveland drag king Caius Crow. You can find Edward's looks, performance videos, and upcoming show dates on Instagram at @TheRizzler420. That's _the_Rizzler420. You can find me on Instagram at Caius Crow. That's CAIUS Crow. Questions, comments, compliments, complaints? Send me a message on Instagram at KingsOnTheAux or email me at caiuscrow@gmail.com. I'll talk to you soon on our next episode. Thank you for supporting local drag.